Welcome back, my students, to another episode of Comic Class. And in today's lesson, guys, we're going to be looking at Rick Remender and Wes Craig's Deadly Class Volume 3, The Snake Pit. And yeah, without further ado, let's jump right into this story. Let's go. So, Volume 3 pretty much starts off where Volume 2 left off, with us picking up with Saya, basically, and Let's. And basically, we're being told by them that the attempt they had at taking down F-Face and his gang basically went kind of sideways. And yeah, it's not going the way that they had planned it to. Now, Let's and Saya basically try to find where Marcus and Maria are, and we do get to see that Maria and Marcus are being ambushed by Chico's father, basically the person that killed Maria's father. And yeah, they're not in a very good position because Marcus is actually holding the severed head of Chico, and his father is not happy about that. So Let's eventually is, getting to where they're at with Saya. And Willie is basically, freaking out because one of the members basically is having a gun pointed at him, basically, and is saying that he's gonna, kill him. And it's pretty cool, this whole scene, because eventually, Willie is about to get killed whenever Let's basically actually comes out from the side of the building. Now, Let's is shot in the head and basically is killed instantly. And Marcus and Maria are pretty shot, and Willie seems to be taking this opportunity to actually attack the shooter and get away, basically. And Maria and Marcus, make a getaway as well, with Maria using some type of smoke grenade. And yeah, Chico's father basically holds his severed head, and it's pretty dark imagery, just knowing what exactly happened here. And yeah, we basically get to learn that Chico has an older brother that he was always trying to aspire to, and this is where we're revealed to this character that kind of looks like a knockoff version of Lobo, which is really cool. And he basically has a motorcycle and he's chasing after Marcus and Maria. Now, Marcus and Maria basically use a type of grenade to try to, get these people off their tail. And while that's happening, we get to see that the explosion goes off and Marcus makes a getaway, and him and Maria basically make their way onto some type of bus. And this is where we get kind of an interaction between Maria and Marcus, basically, them telling each other how much they mean to each other, and that they both kind of messed up in their own ways, so they're going to try working things out, which I thought was really cool to see, because the relationship between these two characters is really interesting, and we'll see how this plays out throughout the next few volumes. But yeah, so basically they do kind of come to a truce with each other, say they want to work on things, but at the same time they do realize that there's people hunting them down and trying to kill them. So Maria and Marcus kind of come up with this idea for Maria to kind of get in the middle of the road, basically pretending she's going to take on Chico's brother. And this is where Marcus shows up with a bus and basically tries to attack Chico's brother, and basically knocks him out into the sea below, which is really cool. And after that, we get a fight between Marcus and Maria with, Chico's father's men. And it's pretty brutal, these fight scenes. There's a lot of blood, and people actually die in this fight, basically. And eventually Marcus gets separated from Maria, as Maria gets sedated, basically, and taken by Chico's father. And yeah, basically Marcus gets saved by Willie by complete chance, which is just showing how lucky Marcus can be sometimes. Whenever Willie is driving this truck, Marcus falls directly on top of it, which had a ton of trash bags. Now, after all that, we get to see that Chico's father basically is telling Maria that he is actually not going to be killing her, and that doing the same thing she did, decapitating her head, would end her suffering instantly, whereas he will have to live each day of his life knowing his son is dead. So he wants to make Maria basically lose a lot of things one by one and make her suffer. This is where Maria basically reveals that she actually wasn't captured by Cheeto's dad, that she allowed herself to be captured because she had a smoke grenade with her. And she uses a smoke grenade to get the driver of the van or the car to crash and basically allows her to escape. Now, she sets fire to one of the members by using the gasoline from the car that had spilled out, which was really cool. And eventually, she takes on different members of Chico's father's gang, and it decapitates, does whatever she needs to do to win, starts killing all these people. Eventually, she gets to the final dude, being, Chico's father, and Marcus and Willie basically make their way when they hear gunshots, and it's revealed that Marcus basically sees Maria just killed Chico's father, which is pretty sad. And like she says, it doesn't really make anything better knowing that he's dead, because her father's still dead and she really doesn't have anything anyway. So yeah, it's a pretty sad moment to see that Maria, even after she got her revenge, it still doesn't matter. But at least Marcus and Maria have each other. At least that's what's implied here. Now, Marcus and Willie, Saya, Billy, and Maria basically head back into King's Dominion, and Let's is dead. So Maria says that she took care of Letz's body. That way, no one suspects that they had anything to do with it, and they do share a kiss with each other, and this is where we see that Saya is actually looking at them. So we'll go more into that in a little bit. But yeah, Maria basically goes to Master Lin, or is called to Master Lin's office, and Master Lin basically reveals that he knows that Maria, Marcus, and the others basically killed Let's, or got Let's killed. And he's not mad that they did, stuff without his permission, but mad that they got caught because they're being trained to be assassins and to not be captured by anyone, basically, or at least caught by anyone in doing their actions. And this sort of revealed that Master Lin is actually working with her, I guess you could call her like the stepmom type adoptive mom that works with Chico's father, basically. I don't know if that was his wife or what. And Chico's brother, he actually survived the fall into the ocean. And yeah, it's pretty awesome. So we'll see what happens to Maria in a future volume, but we're not going to get any conclusion to that in this volume. So that's the last we see of Maria here in volume 3. Now we get to see that Marcus is actually reeling from everything that's gone on between him and Maria, because she's gone. She didn't leave anything but just one message, which probably was written by someone else like Master Lin. So yeah, it's really cool. And he talks to Willie and basically tells him that he's going to tell Saya how he feels. And eventually he talks to Saya, and Saya basically reveals that Willie actually told her that he likes her. So this kind of breaks Marcus's heart in a way, because he thought maybe him and Saya could have a chance, as they knocked it out of the park basically in volume 2. But she chose to be with Willie instead. Now, Marcus basically is kind of like getting high on drugs, and Willie basically comes up and talks to Marcus, or at least tries to talk to him, and this is where Marcus basically, punches out Billy and even tells Willie that he's a coward, that he wants him to tell everyone on how much BS there was between his story about his father and him shooting his father's killers and stuff like that. And of course, Willie doesn't really come out and say it about what's going on, and at the end, Saya and Willie basically go off with each other, and Marcus is left by himself as Billy joins them as well. And we get to see that Victor was watching the whole thing unfold, so Victor will play a role in the story, and yeah, we'll get to that later. We get introduced to this new character called Petra, which is like the goth chick in the story in the school. So her and Marcus basically become friends, and Marcus goes to a party that Petra is holding, and this is where he actually sleeps with, I guess, a fellow classmate, which he refers to as being, just a really rough night, that nothing really felt pleasurable. So yeah, pretty rough for Marcus. Now, Marcus gets to see that Saya and Willie have actually started going out, so he's not liking that one bit. And yeah, Marcus basically reveals to Billy that he thinks that Saya is trying to play him and Willie against each other, and that something big is going on, which Marcus will end up being right at the very end of this volume, but we'll get to that when we get to that. But yeah, something big definitely is going on, and Saya definitely does know a little bit of what's going on as well. Now, Marcus confronts Saya about, her trying to get Willie and, him to fight against each other, and even accuses her of killing Maria, and that's the reason why Maria is gone. And Saya basically punches, Marcus, and basically tells her, to leave her alone. And because, this is just getting crazy now, he's actually accusing his own friends of killing each other, basically. And yeah, it's pretty messed up. So, we get to see that Marcus basically has a talk with Victor, and Victor basically tells him that the whole incident that we got to see in Volume 1 with him, Shabnam, and Victor, there's going to be payback for that. So yeah, so he basically tells him that he's going to give him a choice, and that he's going to let him decide if he's going to tell his friends about Let's, or, well, if he's going to tell Master Lin about Let's, or he's going to let his friends tell him, or something like that, and basically making him give a choice if he's going to get in trouble or all of them are getting in trouble. Because Victor will let Master Lin know about Let's in the future. Basically, he's giving him like a week or a few days or something like that. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Now, Petra basically talks to Marcus as he's having one of his high sessions, and they actually end up sleeping together. And after that whole crazy situation with him getting with Petra, which, is just one of those, he was high, he wasn't really thinking moments, we get to see that one of the guys that Marcus had told about Willie actually went to confront Willie about his past and actually got beat up and tied to some type of telephone pole or something. And yeah, to kind of send a message, and we get to see that Saya and Willie are angry at Marcus because, he told about Willie's past, which could get Willie killed because these people are not playing around. If they see weakness, they might try to kill you. So yeah, pretty messed up stuff. Now, after that, we get to see that one of the people that is Petra's friends, I forget what his name is, basically talks to Marcus while he's in the shower, or while they're showering. Basically tells him he needs to be on the lookout for Saya and Willie because he feels like they might try to kill them. Well, kill Marcus. And this guy named Kendall, I believe, is actually, just looking out for Marcus, and basically tells him to even get himself checked after he noticed that Marcus isn't looking so good, down there. So Marcus actually goes to the doctor, follows Kendall's advice, gets himself checked to see if he has herpes, and it turns out that he doesn't, and it actually turned out to be some type of rash that he got from Petra when he slept with her. And yeah, it's a pretty funny scene. But at the same time, it does make me cringe a little bit whenever the doctor got that swab out and it said he had to stick it inside Marcus's, yeah, pretty messed up. Now, Shabnam has an interaction with Marcus, basically telling him that he has feelings for that character that he slept with. And it turns out that she comes to their dorm and tells Marcus that she's pregnant, and even, gets mad at Marcus, saying that he will have to take care of the kid. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. I can't remember how this plotline turns into, but we'll figure it out as we go down the volumes. Now, Marcus basically gets fed up. I mean, everything's going wrong right now. He's had so much paranoia that he actually gets a ski mask and sets out to kind of execute Victor, and assassinate him. Be an assassin, as you could say. And as he's trying to go out and kill Victor, it's shown that Master Lin makes an announcement saying that he's here to make a big announcement for the end of, I believe, the freshman year. So Marcus basically, fails at this assassination attempt, and as Victor is taking a shower, he tries to assassinate Victor while he's, in the shower, and one of the teachers gets shot instead. Now, I don't know if this teacher actually ends up getting killed, or if he comes back in a future volume, but yeah, I mean, it's a pretty messed up scene. Now, Victor makes his way, gets dressed, I guess he had his clothes in hand while he was running, and goes to the auditorium where Master Lin is making an announcement, and Marcus and Victor basically have a seat, and they're seeing their fellow classmates, the ones that they associate with, basically their reactions to what exactly is happening with Marcus and Victor. And this is where it gets really real, because Master Lin basically says that there's a reason why when you look at the higher up grades, they don't have the amount of numbers that you have in the freshman year, and the reason why is because people are going to be getting killed, and you're either a rat or you're like a hunter or something like that. And this is where we get introduced to the idea of the rat. If you remember, in the first volume, I believe, they were handed a rat that was like the skeleton of a rat, and whoever was handed that basically was kind of like given like a sign that they're gonna be one of these people that are gonna be hunted down. And basically Master Lin just says, when these lights go off, the only objective you have is to survive for 1 week. And the final begins the moment the light goes off, and Master Lin basically presses the I don't know what you would call it, the rope, And yeah, the lights go off and he basically just says kill the rats, and that's the end of Volume 3, The Snake Pit. Deadly Class Volume 3, The Snake Pit is a fantastic volume as always. Deadly Class is my favorite comic book series of all time, at least at the moment. Every volume, every issue, every arc or story arc is amazing, and this is just great. Now I will say that the next volume that we're going to be covering, Volume 4, is probably my favorite part of the story ever in Deadly Class. It's just a fantastic comic story, and I can't wait to cover it for you guys. But yeah, that's going to be Deadly Class Volume 3, The Snake Pit. I thought it was great. Definitely recommend it. As always, link will be in the description down below. Check it out on Comixology. Go support your comics legally. And yeah, until the next video when we cover Volume 4 of Deadly Class, I'll be looking forward to seeing your guys' comments on what you thought of Volume 3. And yeah, be on the lookout for when Volume 4 drops on the channel. But until next time, guys, God bless you. Until the next lesson, keep on reading those comics.
I am who I'm meant to be. I am who I'm meant to be. Over and out again. My future needed clarity.